Sri Gurubhyo Namaha children, we have already seen the earthquake, our supplementary reader. 9th standard children, this is third part. We already completed first part and second part, and today we are going to see third part, the continuation of the story. So, it is a supplementary reader for you, and we will see how nice the ending is. Okay. So, Earthquake by K.S. Madhavan. He is a boy of 17 years old who is owning a tea shop, and he is inviting the stranger to his tea shop, and he just talks very politely, and he was offering a tea for that day free of cost. The reason behind it is when there was an earthquake, his mother, grandmother and his brother were died, and somebody helped him to search his sister, and they were luckily escaped. The sister had been escaped from that earthquake, who is 2 years old girl, and this fellow and her sister were just the narrator, and the sister was just leading the life, and he started his work, he stopped his schooling and started his work at the age of 13 or 12, and he was working in the place in the tea shop, and later he was becoming a tea shop owner, and he is providing water, and he is just leading a thing, and he was sharing that one night within 5 minutes everything had been lost. The earthquake taken so many lives and their place that Molti village itself totally spoiled. We found that 170 villages are there in that valley, and out of that 102 valleys have been destroyed, and among them one village that is called Molti, and Molti village have been destroyed by the earthquake, and his grandmother, mother, brother had died, and somebody helped him to get his sister, and let us see what it is. So, he was telling, for the living the nightmare began at daybreak when the news trickled in of the large scale devastation. There were dozens of landslides, huge boulders thrown apparently across motorable tracks and roads. Precious time was spent in blasting the rocks and clearing the way for the army rescue team. It was all of 4 days before help arrived for Molti. So, 4 days before only they got the help, and the whole village had been spoiled. You know that mountainside, if the villages are there, if the mountain had have an earthquake, what will be the situation? The rocks all will fall, and there will be all dust and other things, and it had happened like a dream, a night dream. So, you know what is a nightmare, or nightmare means a dream which you will get a very bad dream at night you will be getting. So, like that it is a bad dream for them, and as a bad dream they lost their place, house, properties, and life loss was more, and he lost his grandmother, mother and brother in that incident. So, he is narrating that. I was among the first to reach the village. So, he was the first to reach the village. My uncle accompanied me. We feared the worst, but nothing had prepared us for what we saw. So, they were very much frightened. They thought that there will be a loss of the house and other things which they can earn. But they did not expect that they will be losing his mother, grandmother and his brother. Every single house, every wall, every roof had been flattened. Stone, rubble and dust were all that remained. So, all the building had been like stones, small stones and some dust it was, and everywhere it is thrown out. And our house was two-storied stone building with a slate roof. They were having two-storied home, they were having two-storied, and on the top they had a roof for some sheets, slates. And my great grandfather had built the house. So, here his great grandfather built that house, and we were a small family. My father had died after an illness. So, it had been built, that house had been built by his great grandfather, and his father had died, and because of illness just 14 months ago, only 14 months got over, he lost his father. And my mother took care of us. Mother was taking care of us. We were 3 children. So there were 3 children. I was the oldest. That means he was the elder person in his family, oldest. And my brother Neelu was 10. So his brother Neelu was 10 years old. And Bully, my 2 years old sister, Bully was 2 years old and she was 2 years old sister, was the baby of the family. So she was a younger one and 2 years old and she was a baby. And my grandmother lived with us. With them, his grandmother was living. So here he was running and rushing to the place. Let us see what happens. When the soldier began to clear the debris, my uncle led me away. I was in a complete daze, too numb to feel anything. The soldier had set up a makeshift camp. Someone gave me tea and biscuit. I don't know how long I was there. Suddenly it was evening and uncle was standing beside me. So they went to the place and they were hunting and searching for their mother, brother and grandmother and sister. And they were searching, the soldiers were searching and they were just, you know that the big rocks all will be there, they will be just cutting and they will be taking it safely so that any person who is damaged and life is there, they have to save. So very clearly they are doing it, and he was searching for their family members there, and he doesn't know, somebody gave him tea and biscuit for him that time. And by the evening, his uncle came near to him, and let us see what is happening. We have taken bodies to the river bank. So that shows that they searched, grandmother died, mother died, brother died, and taken the bodies to the river bank, he said gently. So he was telling, we have to take the bodies to the river bank. His uncle come near to him and is saying, you just imagine, come, you must perform the last rites before sunset. Tomorrow we will go back to Puri. So what his uncle is telling, all are died. We have to do the last funeral for them. You just come, we will be going and we will do that, and tomorrow you can come along with me to Puri and you can stay along with me. I had last seen my family while leaving for Puri. So you just imagine, last when he was, the day before, previous day when he was going, he was waving his hand to his family, and family members all waving his hand, and they just farewell, given a nice farewell to him, and just think over, he is not able to come out of it. They stood at the doorway and waved, Ma, Grandma, Neelu and Bully, that is the way I will always remember them, smiling and waving at me, not as the white shrouded lifeless figure I saw. So when he was thinking about the last, how he had bid a bye to them. So only that imagination is coming to his mind, not the shrouded. Shrouded means, you know that a dead body will be covered with a white color cloth, and these bodies were covered with a white cloth, and that he can't recognize. Only when they were alive, when they were waving his hands, that was being shown to the person, and he was thinking only that was coming to his mind when he think of their food. Then only 3 bodies were there. Bully, she was not there. So he was seeing only his brother, grandmother and mother was there, and his sister was missing. So he was saying that Bully was there, not there. They have not found her, my uncle said. The wild animals, Briju, don't look like that. She is dead, but we must find her, I shouted. Bridge, get a grip on yourself, uncle pleaded. So you know that when they found only 3 bodies, grandmother, mother and brother, and sister's body was not found. And he was saying that you have to search for her. At least you have to give a last funeral for her, even if she had dead. So that was that. And uncle was giving a nice reply to him. Maybe animals would have taken, don't bother about it, come, we'll give and we'll move. So that was his uncle's word. But as a brother, responsible person, he had not left, he went for his search. But I was beyond reasoning. I ran back to the village, to the spot where my house had stood. So he ran to the place where his house had stood, and no more house was there. Only some muds and stones were there. And he went there. There was still so much debris. I scrambled around, shifting the earth and stones. Now long I was on my knees, searching, crying, searching. So here with his hand, he is not even taken any instrument. He was taken with his own hand as an instrument. He was removing all the stones and muds and searching for his sister, crying and calling. So he was calling her sister name and searching, crying, and he was crying and searching. Boy, it is no use, a voice said. I looked up. The speaker was the army officer who had supervised the relief operation. There is no one alive in there, he said. Whom are you looking for? So now the soldier was there and he was telling, see, I have searched already. All are dead. Nobody was alive there. What you are searching? He was asking, and he was an army person and he was a supervisor for that place, and he was asking this boy, and he is asking, who are you looking for? So you just think over a lovable sister. And my sister, sir, I said, fighting to control my tears. All I want is to give her a proper cremation. So here he was telling, even if he's dead, no problem, I want the dead body so that I can give the last cremation for her. So my grandmother and mother and my brother I found, but my sister was not there. So I want to give last funeral I have to do for her. So I want her body. So he is searching the body. I stopped conscious that I was. So he stopped conscious and he was searching. So babbling, I could see that he was bone tired. He looked as if he had not slept for days. His uniform was covered with dust, his face was grimy, but through all the dust and grim, I saw that his eyes were kind. So he was babbling that I found I have just seen there were no person there alive, all are dead, I have searched thoroughly, and even then his body was tired and he was babbling something and doing and coming near, and it was uniform all with the dust and grim, and he was very tired, but his eye alone shows the kindness, and that eyes of kindness made him to search. My men have been on their feet for days, he said softly, as if talking to himself. They have done all this good year. Tomorrow at daybreak we go to another village just like this. Then another. He looked away at the sun setting behind the peaks. Down in the valley, the pyres burnt row upon row. The officer muttered something, shook his head and turned away. A terrible despair engulfed me. I lay there among the ruins of my house and cried. So here the man is saying that, see, as a soldier, today we are there and tomorrow morning we have to set up and go to the other place of danger, and tomorrow. So he says that when sun sets and sun rises, we have lot of work and we will be moving place to place to save the people, rescue the people, and it is our job, he was telling. And he was very tired and dust and all was there on him, and only his eyes were showing the kindness, and he was grumbling to him and he was telling. And here he started crying. This boy started crying and he was just searching his body of his sister in that place, and he was sitting desperate. That means lonely is sitting, and he was waiting for his sister to find and searching and crying. And it was 10 minutes later, the officer was back. Within him there 3 soldiers armed with spades and crowbars. Without a word, the men began removing the debris. They labored doggedly. When it was completely dark, someone brought a few light Bettermas lamp. 2 hours later, a soldier called out, "Sir." So what happened? They started searching. So within 10 minutes, those 3 soldiers were called, and they were just bringing crowbar and other things what is needed for there to search. They were just bringing the instrument and they were searching, cutting and spades and crowbars. And without a word, without even speaking, they started working there, searching for the child, removing the debris. They labored doggedly when it was completely dark. So from night it started and it was dark. Even in the dark with the Bettermas light they were searching. And 2 hours later, a soldier called out, "Sir." He was calling, "Sir." He stood in the middle of a small hollow. The wall had caved in it at the spot. I recognized a part of a door, beneath it a small foot. So he says that he was searching. After 2 hours, one person is saying, "Sir, I found in a hole a door, and under the door a small foot." Okay. Feverishly the soldier began to clear the hollow. Then they lifted the door, She is alive, someone said. It was a miracle. She had been buried under the debris of a hundred. So it is clear that there was a door and which saved her for 3-4 days. Under it she was there, a small child, and only foot was seen, and they cleared the place and they took her, and it was a miracle that, see, in such danger, it was a miracle she was alive. She had been buried under the debris for 116 hours. So it was 116 hours she was there surviving. She had survived the earthquake, the cold nights and the wild animals. A raged cheer went up and the soldier wrapped her in a warm blanket and carried her to the tent where a makeshift hospital had been set up. Bully lived. The next day I went to thank the army officer, but he was gone. I did not even know his name. So here when they come to know that the child was buried under the door and the door was safeguarding her, and she was surviving there 116 hours, and she had survived the earth, the cold nights and wild animals. So she had survived the cold nights and wild animals, and a raged cheer went up and the soldier wrapped her in a warm blanket. So he took a warm blanket and warmed her and in a warm blanket and carried her to the tent where a makeshift hospital had been set up. So you know that for the dangerous time, some tent will be arranged, and there the hospital doctors and others will be taking care. So that place, the child was taken by the soldier and had been set up. A bully lived. So they given a life to bully, and the bully was surviving now. The next day I went to thank the army officer. That boy went to thank the army officer, but the army officer was not in that place. Already they said they had another camp and they were just moved to that camp. But even he had not asked his name. My sister and I went on to live with my uncle. So this boy and sister went on live with her uncle. So I got a job at a dhaba near Panipat. He got a job in a Panipat in the dhaba and he started working there. Bully stayed back. She started going to school. So they both stayed in uncle's house and he got a job, and his sister was sent to school and sister was going to school. It weighed on me that I never thanked that army officer. So it weighted means there was a burden in his heart, and he was feeling sorrow that he had not thanked the soldier for a long days. And that was, you know that you will be having a hurt in your heart. Sometimes it will be pricking forever. So like that it was a prick for him. I hoped that one day I would run into him again. Every time I saw an army man, I would hope it was him. For a month I would search for his face in every crowd, and one day I did find him. So what happens, he was searching for the soldier every day, everywhere, and if he happened to see, he wanted to thank him. That was his mind. And he was searching the man in the crowd and everywhere, and he couldn't, but he had a hope that one day surely he will be meeting that soldier. It was late on a winter's night. A truck stopped at the shop. A man got out. He looked familiar. When he stepped into the light, I saw that it was not him, just someone who bore a strong resemblance. The man was tired. He asked for a cup of tea. As I served him, sir, I felt this strange lightness, this sense of joy. When the man offered to pay, I did not take the money. The next day it happened again. Every day I would see someone, a completely stranger, a tired traveler who reminded me of that officer. It was as if he was everywhere, and every time I served him a tea, I felt a surge of sheer joy. So what he was feeling, he had not met the soldier, and wherever he found a person who is very tired, he will be having a resemblance of that soldier, and he will be offering a tea in a shop and some warmth, because he want to show the gratitude to, thanks to the soldier. It is not possible. So who all coming like him, like a tired and as a traveler, he started doing it, and he was giving a cup of tea and warmth in his shop, and he felt happiness in that. A month later, I quit my job at the shop and returned to those mountains. So after some time, he quit the job in the dhaba and he went to his own village in the mountains. Now he says the shop owner was quite relieved. He had no use for the waiter who kept for getting to present the bill to the customer. Now I am on my own and I am at peace. So what he saying, I am not having, I am not bothered about the customers and other things, because I am the owner. If I am a servant somewhere, I have to search for the customer and I have to please them and I have to make them, and then only I will be getting a salary. So he feels, and he feels that he is owning his own tea shop and he can offer free cost of tea for somebody. Here is your bus, sir. No, no money. You were tired. All I offered you was a cup of tea. Maybe it was the best tea in all Well, maybe not, but I am happy I could do you this small service. Wish you the safe journey, sir. May God be with you. So what is saying that? So I don't want money, sir. Your bus had come. You can move if you want. And this is the chance you are given. Thanking and gratitude for the small soldier who had already given me the chance. The same I am doing for every tired person, a stranger or a soldier. So that in gratitude I am doing, and I feel very happy in that. And he says that he does not want, but I am happy. Maybe the tea is good or not, I do not know, but I am happy I could do this small service. Which wish you safe journeys, wishing them a safe journey, and sir, may God be with you. So he is praying and sending him. So that was the story, it just ends. You can understand. So if you are not able to do the gratitude to the person, you can do to others who all similar to like that. If you want to help any person, instead of that you can help a beggar or who comes to help for you from you, so that it will be nice. So that is the moral we are learning from this lesson. So we must be gratitude to somebody. If not, that person you are not able to thank. Every day whatever you are doing, you have to be thanking them, and you have to thank them. That is very, very important. If it is not possible, at least if similar person, if you happen to see, you have to thank, and you must lead a good life. You understand, children? This is the moral. Be thankful always and feel gratitude to always, and you thank when somebody helping you. That is very much important.